y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 69 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. It is so great to have you guys all over the world joining up with me and here in Little Oklahoma and having a good time tangling together. All right. Today's tangle is going to be Stella. It is by Jana Rogers, CZT. And this is what it looks like. It is very similar to the Tangle pattern Way Bop, if you're familiar with that one. And it is just a blank playground for us to embellish. So let's get started. I'm going to use another one of my gorgeous Zentangle tiles. I was so happy with the way mine turned out yesterday. So here's where we're at. So this tangle starts off with a dot in the middle. Let me zoom out just a little bit so you can see my covers. It's always so embarrassing. Okay, and we're going to put a dot somewhere middle-ish and just a little dot, okay? Not a big one, just a little one. Does not have to be perfect, okay? So now what I want to do is put another dot a little ways away, and I'm going to do this like a clock face, and I'm going to put this at 12 o'clock. And I'm going to go approximately the same distance down to 6 o'clock and make another dot so that it's sort of in a straight line up and down. All right. So now I'm going to turn my tile 90 degrees, and I can see that I'm a little off center, but it's not going to matter. This is still going to look really cool. So about the same distance as these two apart, I'm going to want to go this way. All right. And this way, so that we have a little T shape or a cross shape. Oh, Karma, Simba says hi. And he wants to say hi to Lori's little babies too. Thank you for sending me a picture. All right, the next step is to put in 4 more dots, and we're going to put these in the gaps here, okay? And we want something that is vaguely circular. I say vaguely because that's how mine usually turn out.
Everything she says is vaguely.
Yes, well, I'm vague. What can I say? All right.
Actually, not vague.
No, I'm very specific, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
I have to be to survive you, baby. All right. So now we should have a setup with a cross in the middle, and then we have the catty corners or the corners diagonally, okay? So it's basically 2 crosses. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to use the same type of takeoff and landing that we have used before with Huggins and Cadent, okay? But this time we're going to do it a little bit differently, all right? So we're going to have a little dot here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a V shape from this dot down to the center. Let me zoom in a little bit on this and adjust my light. All right. So we're going to make a V, and we're going to curve around this dot. And let me show you what I mean by that. Let me turn this way. Actually, we're going to make a slightly curved line from this dot up here down to the center. And we're going to put another slightly curved line from the next dot over so that we have a V shape. All right. And so I'm going to skip a dot, or I'm going to go to the next dot, and I'm going to do this again. Okay. Make a V shape down here into the center. And it's just going to curve ever so slightly from the top down. So you have these little funky looking V shapes, okay? Now, this gap here is going to look different from the ones between the V's. So just don't worry about that. Go to your next dot and make another V shape. Curved inward slightly, down to the center dot, and the next dot over, curve inward slightly, just like so. All right, next dot, curve inward slightly, curve inward slightly. So this is where we are now, all right? And you will notice that every other gap, the gaps between the little V shapes that we made, are turned in instead of out like the V's, okay? Here's what we're going to do with those. We're going to come from the inside of this dot, and we're going to make another V shape out here. Let me show you. Just like that, and it's going to look exactly like these V shapes we did on the inside. All right, so skip to your next spot. Just like so. All right, all of the spots where your shapes turn towards each other, that's where we're going to put these. And there's no rule book for this. Okay, if your V's are a little bit crazy looking, that's absolutely fine. I found that that gives a really interesting result. So this is where we're at now, and if you'll notice, we have the ability to make something else, but we really can't make the inverted V that we have been. So what we're going to do on every other one of these is we're going to make one that comes out, okay? So here's my dot, all right? And I'm going to come from the inside of this and make an outer. This is like the top of a poke leaf, all right? Let's do another one. You just can put a little cap on them. All right, now that's pretty cool. So the next thing I'm going to do, of course, this isn't a thing in the step out, but I'm going to go through here and make these little dots just a little bit better. Fill these in just a little bit so that it looks like it's going, so that we look like we have some sort of a little woven thing going on. Didn't really want it that weird, but it's still going to work out just fine. By the time we get done embellishing, no one will know. Whoops. Unless I keep doing it that way, in which case everyone will know. Okay, this is it. This is Stella. So the question now is, okay, we did it. Now what do we do? Okay, well, let's explore some possibilities. So for embellishing, the world is your oyster. Do whatever you think is cool. So the first thing I want to do, I think, is I looked at some of Jana's examples on her step out art. And so I have a few ideas. One thing we can do is aura all of this, and I think that's a really good look. What else? Really, there's so many things. So one of the things I think I want to do is do something to this center to sort of bring it in. And one of her examples she had on there was just a little wavy, blacked in sort of thing. And if it's not pointy enough, I may go back through and make these little things that are coming out a little bit less rounded. That got away from me a little bit, but something like this, that just sort of like an ink splat, just to give a little bit of interest to the center here. Okay, so I do think I want to aura, but I want to consider how I'm going to do that. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is on these that are inverted, that pop out, I'm going to start here and make an aura up here, okay? Okay, and then I'm going to skip over and do that same thing. That already really dresses it up, I think. Well, I like that. That's already so much more dynamic, isn't it? So, wow, I like that a lot. What else could we do with this? So now I think I want to do this same thing, but I want to do it down here. So let's see what that adds. Oh, I really like the way this dresses this up. And by not covering the entire thing with an aura, I really think this will be a fun result. Okay. I like a lot. All right, I've decided that to start with, I'm going to put a large printemps in the top of this, on each one of these sort of hat-shaped petals that are pointing up or out. Something like that. Now, at this point, of course, you guys can be embellishing however you like. You guys know this. I want every one of your ideas down on paper. Try them out. Get a scratch pad or your sketchbook or something like that and just try some things out. See what looks good. See what doesn't look good. let's see. Let's think of one single element or something that we can do in these sections that might be pretty but not overwhelming. What could we do? What could we do? I don't want to fill with orbs or anything big like that. That would be, I think, the pattern that we put in here would overwhelm the rest of it. And if you'll notice now, the way that I've aura'd this gives me a natural separation for any, like, for example, if I should want to fill this with something like tipple or something else, then I could do that easily and still have these little bits of separation between the sections next to it. And so that would be a benefit of aura-ing in this way. And of course, in some of the step out art, she had an aura that went all the way from the tip and just followed the contours of these instead of doing the sort of Huggins type of aura that I did here. And now that you guys experienced sort of a little bit of Huggins yesterday with the Cindier pattern. Yes, there's a pattern named Cindier.
Is there a pattern named Mari?
There's a pattern named Marito.
Or are you just making that up?
The Marito?
Yeah.
Baby, you were around for that. You were here.
I wasn't.
There is a pattern that I named after you called Marito. We just did it on the 100-day project a couple of weeks back.
Marito Sembrito?
Mm. It's called Marito.
Sembrito.
No, it's called Marito.
Sembrito.
But I will let you help me name my next one if I come up with another one. So Mari thinks there should be a pattern out there named after him. I tried to explain that he has one named after him. He thinks that there should be one named Mari. So there you go. All you crazy pattern creators out there, name one Mari. All right. So what, baby? The pattern should look like you? Well, all it needs is a fuzzy little head then. And a haircut. We need a haircut badly. Both of us. So we still haven't been anywhere. And our car broke down this week. And so last week. And so now we are having to, I had to have it towed. And it's at the shop and they can't look at it until tomorrow. So you know what? I'm going to make myself just all kinds of happy today. And I'm going to put flux in here. Yes, I am. Because why, ladies and gentlemen? Why? Because I can. It's my art, and I can do it if I want to. Isn't that awesome? No, baby, I've been saying that all year. In fact, I'm pretty sure you started saying it after I was saying it. Well, I sort of wimped that one out. Well, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Well, I'm just gonna fill these with teardrop shapes. They're all just gonna be in here willy-nilly. Remember, that means random. Okay. So Saturday afternoon is not the time to record these videos, clearly. Since that is prime yard working time. And we, of course, have it all right outside our window.
True.
One of the reasons that music is nice is because it sort of ameliorates some of the extraneous noise that I get outside, like the car noise and that kind of thing.
Actually, music is nice because it can be.
Because it can be.
Yeah.
Thanks, baby.
If you pick a note, it can be whatever side it can be.
That's true. Music is a very free thing, isn't it?
So you can't change what music it is.
So I think I want to change the orientation of how I did the flux in this. And so I think I want to point them all down towards the middle. So I think I'm going to start up here. And move out. It's much easier, organic sort of movement. Yes, I think I like that much better. I think it's able to flow out a little bit more naturally. So I think I'm going to continue to do it this way on the rest of these. And remember, not every experiment you try is going to work, and that's fine. But some are going to work, and you learn so much from the experimentation process. I really encourage you to go for it if you've got an idea. Some of you have been sending me some really cool, amazing art pics that have lots of creative ideas on them. I really wish that everyone was comfortable sharing with everyone else, because some of you are amazing artists. Well, at this point, I'm wishing I had waited to add that center blob until the end, but I think we're going to be able to make it work for us. Anytime when you're overlapping and you've got an element that's going to look like it's on top, it's always nice to leave that element until the very last thing. And then you'll know whether it's going to work for you or not. And I'm just saying that because of the fill pattern here. And, you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I like it. I like how this looks. And I'm thinking about taking my white jelly roll in here and doing an inner aura or some kind of an inner design that will sort of distract from some of this and move into something else. We'll see. When you have a big ink pool like that and you're thinking about using jelly roll on top, one of the really important things to remember is that if you just roll it over constantly, just like you would a normal pen, you're probably going to end up with ink and jelly roll mixed, even though the jelly roll isn't going to affect the ink itself. Sometimes when you use jelly roll over an ink pool like that, it can get muddy. So the key to that is to very carefully keep your nib on your jelly roll clean by wiping it off every few strokes and using a very, very light touch. Remember, anytime you are pushing down into the paper, with a jelly roll, which basically has a ballpoint pen type of a setup on it, you're forcing the little ball up into the pen when you do that, which prohibits the ink from flowing out. So you don't want to use a hard hand with that. You want to be as light as you possibly can. Just tap it on just a tiny bit. And you will find if you'll be really light with your jelly rolls, the ink will flow much better with them. Okay. All right. Now, aside from the blob in the middle, I'm very pleased with how this turned out. And so I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of this on my own. I may take some of these single little elements out and stick them around. I'm not sure. I'll just think about it. I want to see what you guys come up with. But first, before we go, let's just address shading very quickly because it'll be simple on this. You're going to want to shade here behind the elements, basically, just as we did in Huggins, or just as we did yesterday with Cindier. We're just going to put the color right there where it looks like it's going behind. So this element looks like it's on top. So we're going to shade to the sides of it, like this. And we're going to enhance that overlapping quality. Now I'm not going to blend this with a tortillon for you. I want to wait. I've got a lot of ink on here, and I don't want to scrub up the tooth of my paper. So I'm going to let this set when we get done for just a few minutes. But this is basically the shading. Now the one other thing I think that you could do here would be on these rounded ones to sort of give some contoured shading where, whoops, that was unfortunate. I just drew someplace I wasn't supposed to draw. So something like that, that sort of gives the rounded feeling to it. You could do it on each side. I don't know. It just depends on what you want. And so this is Stella. What a fun, pretty pattern it is. I love the patterns that are just open scapes for you to embellish. And this is absolutely one of those. So I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Remember, keep sending me those direct messages on Instagram. I love getting them and I love answering them. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And I'm going to see you tomorrow for day 70. We'll start our last month. Some of you have expressed some dismay to me regarding our 100-day project being over, and I want to reassure you that as far as I am able, I intend to keep uploading regularly to YouTube after this channel or after this project is over. It won't be daily, but it will be at least 3 times a week. Okay, so you'll still have something to look forward to, and we'll just see what happens as we go forward. I have several really fun projects that I'm thinking about doing with you guys, and some other things that I'm thinking about, so we'll get into those later. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for day 70. Thanks for being here.